The Galactic Confederation had finally noticed Earth. After decades of sending signals into space, humanity received their answer when massive alien ships appeared in orbit without warning. They came not as invaders, but as reluctant welcomers to the galactic community. Admiral Ju Park stood before the Alien Council, feeling small despite her decorated military career. The chamber stretched impossibly high, designed to accommodate species of all sizes. Some delegates floated in bubbling tanks, while others perched on specialized platforms. The air smelled faintly of cinnamon and ozone. "Welcome, Earth Representative," announced the council leader, a tall being with 4 arms and skin like polished amber. "We have reviewed your petition for membership." Admiral Park nodded respectfully. At 53, she had been chosen not only for her strategic mind, but for her unshakable composure. Her short gray hair and weathered face reflected a lifetime of service to humanity. Commander Toll, the Valkyran delegate, made a sound like grinding metal, apparently their version of a derisive laugh. The Valkyran were reptilian, with scales that shifted colors with their moods. Toll's were currently a smug orange-red. "Your species has barely mastered basic warp technology," he sneered, leaning forward on his platform. His scaled skin shimmered under the council chamber lights. "Yet you petitioned to join as equals." The translation device at Park's ear rendered his words perfectly, including the tone of contempt. She had been warned the Valkyran were militaristic and held non-spacefaring races in low regard. Their empire was among the oldest in the Confederation. "Earth requests fair consideration based on our potential, not just our current technological status," Park replied evenly. Laughter rippled through the chamber. Several delegates exchanged amused glances. The Valkyran commander's scales rippled as he leaned forward, mandibles clicking with amusement. "Show us this potential, human. Your detection systems couldn't even identify our scout ships until they were practically in your atmosphere." Park felt her jaw tighten, but maintained her diplomatic smile. The Valkyran were referring to their test of Earth's defenses last month, when they sent small ships into Earth's space without permission. The military had detected them, of course, but far later than they should have. "We are learning quickly," she offered. "Learning," huffed a gaseous entity from a floating platform. "The young always believe they learn quickly." Commander Toll rose to his full height, nearly 3 meters tall. Perhaps a demonstration would benefit these humans. With council permission, the Valkyran would be willing to conduct military exercises near Earth to help them understand their defensive inadequacies. The council leader nodded thoughtfully. "Approved, if Earth consents. Such exercises would provide valuable data for your development." Admiral Park recognized the trap. Refuse, and Earth would appear fearful and weak. Accept, and they would be humiliated by superior alien technology. Earth would welcome such an educational opportunity, she said, the words tasting bitter. The meeting continued with discussions of trade restrictions, technological exchange limitations, and Earth's probationary status. Throughout it all, Admiral Park maintained her dignity, while the Valkyran delegate made barely disguised jokes at humanity's expense. What none of them knew, what Admiral Park took comfort in during the humiliating 3-hour session, was the secret beneath the Pacific Ocean. 10 kilometers below the surface, in a facility carved into the seafloor, Earth's greatest minds have been working for 15 years. The project began after astronomers detected signals indicating intelligent life. While politicians debated whether to respond, military leaders quietly prepared for all possibilities. The ESS Phantom was unlike any ship ever built. Its hull absorbed rather than reflected light. Its propulsion system left no energy signature. Most importantly, it incorporated technology that Earth scientists had developed in absolute secrecy, a quantum displacement field that essentially placed the ship slightly out of phase with normal spacetime. As Admiral Park endured the Council's condescension, Engineer Taehyun Kang was completing the final calibrations on the Phantom's stealth systems. Director Minju Han was reviewing the crew assignments. Captain Sunwoo Ryu was memorizing the ship's specifications. Integration test complete, announced Kang to the small team. Field stability at 99.8%. Director Han nodded with satisfaction. The aliens believe our sensors couldn't detect their scout ships until they were practically on top of us. They don't realize we tracked them from the moment they entered our solar system, said Captain Rhea with a slight smile. We simply chose not to reveal our capabilities. The Phantom gleamed in its massive underwater hangar, drinking in the light rather than reflecting it. Within days, it would be ready for its first mission. The aliens who mocked Earth's primitive technology would never see it coming. When the Valkron came to demonstrate humanity's weakness, they would receive a demonstration of their own. Admiral Park's footsteps echoed against the polished floors of Earth Defense Headquarters as she made her way to the secure meeting room. 3 weeks had passed since her humiliating experience before the Galactic Confederation Council. The memory of the aliens' laughter still burned in her mind. The guards outside the steel door scanned her retinas before allowing her entry. Inside, General Hyunwoo Kim waited, his weathered face illuminated by the blue glow of holographic displays. At 62, he had been fighting for the Phantom Project since its inception. "You look tired, Admiral," he said, pouring her a cup of coffee. "I've been monitoring Confederation communications," she replied, accepting the cup gratefully. "They're planning something." She activated her data tablet, projecting intercepted Valkron transmissions onto the main screen. "Our intelligence suggests the Valkron are organizing a demonstration of our vulnerabilities." The communications detailed a planned military exercise that was, in reality, designed to humiliate Earth. The Valkron would penetrate Earth's defenses, mock-target major cities, and broadcast their success to the entire Confederation. General Kim studied the information, then nodded grimly. "Let them come. The Phantom is ready." He pressed a button on the table. The wall screen changed to a live feed from the underwater facility. There hung the ESS Phantom in its massive berth, a ship like no other in human history. Unlike conventional vessels with their reflective metal hulls, the Phantom seemed to swallow light rather than bounce it back. Its sleek, predatory shape was difficult to focus on, as if the eyes naturally slid away from it. "Beautiful, isn't she?" General Kim said softly. "First of her kind, but not the last." Admiral Park studied the vessel with pride. How many people know about her? Fewer than 200 humans. No aliens. Lieutenant Junho Choi entered the room carrying a sealed data tablet. At 34, he was among the youngest officers with full Phantom clearance. "Captain Lee reports all systems operational," he said, sliding the tablet across the table. "The adaptive camouflage, gravity manipulation drives, and quantum displacement field exceed our expectations." Admiral Park entered her authorization code and studied the report. The numbers were impressive even to her, and she had followed the project for years. The quantum displacement field alone was revolutionary, shifting the vessel partially out of phase with normal spacetime. The Phantom didn't just avoid detection. It existed partly in another dimension. "And the Valkron remain unaware?" she asked, looking up. General Kim smiled thinly. "They believe we're scrambling to patch together basic defensive measures. Their arrogance will be their undoing." Lieutenant Choi activated another screen showing intercepted Valkron battle plans. They intend to bring 3 warships and 6 support vessels. According to their communications, it's to be a teaching exercise. "They want to teach us our place," Admiral Park said, her voice hard. "When do they arrive?" 5 days, replied Choi. "They're not bothering to hide their approach." General Kim walked to the window overlooking the city. People moved about their daily lives, most unaware that aliens had even contacted Earth. The government had kept first contact quiet to prevent panic while they assessed the situation. "I've reviewed Captain Lee's team," the general said. "Excellent choices. Top pilots, engineers, and tactical officers, all with families kept in the dark about their true assignments." Admiral Park nodded. "How long has Captain Lee been training them?" 3 years in the simulator. They've run over 500 mission profiles. They're ready. The Admiral studied the holographic display of the Phantom's capabilities again. The ship carried no conventional weapons, no missiles, no lasers. Its purpose wasn't to destroy, but to prove a point. Its systems could disable any known alien technology without causing casualties. "The Confederation thinks of us as children," she said quietly, barely worth noticing. "The Valkyran see us as primitive apes who stumbled onto basic space travel. A mistake they'll regret," General Kim assured her. A soft chime indicated an incoming secure communication. Lieutenant Choi checked the sender and frowned. "It's from our informant in the Confederation. The Valkyran have accelerated their timeline." The new information scrolled across the screen. Admiral Park read it quickly, her expression darkening. "They're coming tomorrow. They want to catch us unprepared." Instead of looking concerned, General Kim actually smiled. "Perfect. Perfect," questioned Lieutenant Choi. "Their overconfidence makes our job easier," the general explained. "The more certain they are of our weakness, the more shocking our response will be." Admiral Park took a deep breath. "Contact Captain Lee. The Phantom launches tonight." As the others moved to carry out her orders, Admiral Park stared at the image of the impossible ship. Soon, the aliens who had laughed at humanity would learn that appearances could be deceiving. Very deceiving indeed. The stars rippled as the Valkyran fleet tore through the fabric of space at the edge of the solar system. 9 ships in total, 3 massive warships flanked by 6 smaller support vessels. Their hulls gleamed with a metallic purple sheen, their shapes reminiscent of ancient Earth predators, with sharp angles and forward-sweeping wings. From Earth's monitoring stations, the alarm went up immediately. The vessels had appeared with no warning, already within Pluto's orbit. Their weapons systems glowed with energy signatures that Earth's scientists had never recorded before. "They're early," muttered General Kim in the Earth Defense Command Center. Around him, officers and technicians moved with practiced efficiency, but their worried glances betrayed their concern. "This is Commander Toll of the Galactic Confederation," came the transmission, broadcast on all frequencies. The Valkyran commander's scaled face filled the main view screen, mandibles twitching with barely concealed amusement. "We are conducting authorized military exercises to assess Earth's defensive readiness." Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, the ESS Phantom had already slipped out of its underwater berth. The sleek black vessel rose through the depths without disturbing a single water molecule, its quantum displacement field rendering it virtually non-existent to all conventional detection methods. On the bridge, Captain Jinwoo Lee sat calmly in the command chair. At 45, he had spent the last 7 years of his life preparing for this moment. The bridge crew, just 12 individuals, represented the best minds Earth had to offer. "They're broadcasting their arrival like they're doing us a favor," said Commander Mayen Yoon, his executive officer. Her fingers moved rapidly over her console, monitoring the ship's unique systems. Captain Lee studied the tactical display showing the approaching Valkyran fleet. "They want an audience. They've invited half the Confederation to observe our humiliation." Indeed, several non-Valkyran vessels hovered at the edge of the solar system. Diplomatic ships from various alien species, invited to witness Earth's supposed inadequacy. "All systems nominal," reported Commander Yoon, her voice steady. "Stealth field operating at full capacity. We are completely invisible to all known detection methods." "Power signatures?" asked Captain Lee. "Contained within our displacement bubble. As far as anyone can tell, we don't exist." Captain Lee nodded. "Hold position. Let them think they have the upper hand." On his order, Earth's response played out exactly as the aliens expected. The small Earth defensive fleet, just 7 outdated vessels hastily converted from scientific missions, scrambled in apparent disarray. Their communications channels, deliberately left unsecured, filled with panicked chatter. Unknown vessels approaching Mars orbit. Are these the aliens we were warned about? Defense perimeter compromised. Request immediate instructions. From his flagship, Commander Tull watched with satisfaction as the primitive human vessels attempted to form a defensive line near Earth's moon. Their movements were clumsy, their formation full of gaps. Pathetic, he commented to his bridge crew. Record everything. The Council will find this educational. He opened a channel to the observing alien dignitaries. As you can see, esteemed representatives, the humans have no concept of proper space defense. Their detection systems only noticed us as we passed Mars, and their response is inadequate. The Valkron fleet advanced with practiced precision, breaking into 3 attack groups as they approached Earth orbit. Their weapons remained charged but unfired. This was a demonstration, not an attack. They merely needed to prove how easily they could destroy humanity if desired. Meanwhile, the Phantom slipped silently between the alien vessels, completely invisible to their sensors. Captain Lee guided his ship directly into the heart of the Valkron formation. The vessel passed close enough to the alien flagship that the bridge crew could see individual Valkron moving behind the viewports. "They have no idea we're here," whispered Lieutenant Unison, the tactical officer. "Their sensors are active, but they're scanning for conventional ships." "What about their advanced systems?" asked Captain Lee. Commander Yoon checked her readings. "Their quantum resonance detectors are active, but they're scanning on frequencies that won't detect our field signature. They're looking for technology they understand." The Phantom continued its ghostly journey through the Valkron fleet, gathering detailed scans of the alien vessels. Every weapon system, every communication frequency, every shield modulation was recorded and analyzed. On Earth, Admiral Park and General Kim watched the operation through encrypted feeds from the Phantom. The command center was running a carefully choreographed show of disorganization for the benefit of any watching aliens. "Commander Tull is broadcasting our failure to the entire Confederation," General Kim noted with a grim smile. "Perfect." Admiral Park nodded. "The more witnesses to their arrogance, the better." "Captain Lee, are you in position?" From the Phantom, Captain Lee's voice came through clearly. "Yes, Admiral. We are directly adjacent to Commander Tull's flagship. We could reach out and touch them, and they'd never know." "Hold for my command," Admiral Park ordered. "Let them complete their demonstration first." The Valkron fleet now surrounded Earth completely, their vessels positioned to target every major city simultaneously. Commander Tull prepared to deliver his final, humiliating assessment to the humans, unaware that the true demonstration was about to begin. The Earth's atmosphere glowed blue beneath the Valkron fleet. Commander Tull stood on his flagship's observation deck, admiring the view of the conquered planet. Not that Earth was actually conquered. This was merely a demonstration, but the principle was the same. His scales rippled with satisfaction as he prepared his final address. "Begin transmission to all Confederation observers and Earth channels," he ordered. His communications officer nodded, and a red light indicated they were broadcasting. Commander Tull straightened to his full height, his ceremonial armor gleaming under the lights. "Pathetic," he broadcasted, letting his mandibles click with disdain. As expected, the humans possessed no meaningful defensive capabilities. This demonstration will prove once and for all their unworthiness for Confederation membership. His ship's external cameras showed Earth's small defensive fleet scattered and disorganized. Several of the primitive vessels were actually backing away from the Valkron warships. "We have positioned ourselves above every major population center on this world," he continued. "In a real conflict, your species would already be negotiating surrender terms. The Confederation cannot accept members who cannot protect themselves." Around the solar system, dignitaries from 17 different alien species watched the demonstration with varying reactions. The military-minded species nodded in agreement with the Valkron assessment. Others seemed uncomfortable with the humiliation being inflicted on the newcomers. All believed they were witnessing the education of a primitive species. None of them detected the ESS Phantom hovering less than 50 meters from Commander Tull's flagship. Inside the stealth vessel, Captain Lee sat calmly in his command chair. For the past hour, the Phantom had methodically scanned every Volcron ship, mapping their systems, identifying their weaknesses, and positioning itself for maximum effect. "Commander Toll is quite enjoying himself," observed Commander Yoon, watching the aliens broadcast on a small screen. "Let him have his moment," Captain Lee replied. "It will make what comes next more effective." Lieutenant Song at Tactical looked up from her console. "All targets mapped, Captain. EMP systems calibrated for Valkron shield frequencies." Captain Lee nodded and opened a channel to Earth Command. "Admiral Park, we are in position and ready. The Phantom's systems are functioning perfectly. Permission to proceed." In the Earth Defense Command Center, Admiral Park exchanged a glance with General Kim. The room was silent, everyone watching the screens showing the alien fleet surrounding their world. "You have permission, Captain," she said firmly. "Show them what humanity is capable of." Captain Lee took a deep breath. This moment had been planned for years, but the reality of it, revealing Earth's greatest secret to an alien force that had come to mock them, carried enormous weight. "Position confirmed," he announced to his crew. "Disengage stealth systems." Commander Yoon entered the sequence. Quantum displacement field disengaging in 3, 2, 1. In the heart of the Valkron fleet, seemingly from empty space, the ESS Phantom materialized. A black vessel unlike anything the aliens had ever seen. Its hull absorbed light rather than reflecting it, giving it an eerie presence against the backdrop of stars. On the Valkron flagship, alarms blared as sensors suddenly detected the impossible, a ship where nothing had been seconds before. "What is that?" Commander Tull demanded, his scales flashing to alarmed yellow. "Where did it come from?" His weapons officer frantically worked his console. "Unknown vessel has appeared directly beside us. It wasn't there and then. It was. Impossible. Target it with all weapons. Targeting systems are locking. Wait, something's happening to our..." Before the Valkron could complete their targeting sequence, the Phantom fired its specialized electromagnetic pulse weapons. A wave of carefully modulated energy washed over the alien flagship. Systems went dark across the massive warship. Weapons, engines, shields, and non-essential life support all disabled simultaneously without causing any physical damage. Commander Tull watched in horror as his mighty vessel became dead in space. Emergency lights flickered on, casting an eerie red glow across the bridge. "Status report," he demanded. "All systems offline," replied his second-in-command, mandibles clicking in distress. "Weapons, propulsion, communications, everything except basic life support." How? How did they? His question was cut short as every screen and communication device still functioning on the ship received the same transmission. It showed a human male sitting calmly in a captain's chair on what was clearly the bridge of the mysterious black vessel. "This is Captain Lee of the Earth stealth ship Phantom." He transmitted across all frequencies, his voice steady and confident. "We could have destroyed your entire fleet without you ever knowing we were here. Consider this a demonstration of our capabilities." Throughout the solar system, the alien observers watched in stunned silence. The primitive humans had not only developed technology that completely evaded Confederation detection methods, but they had disabled the flagship of the mighty Valkron without firing a single destructive shot. Commander Tull stared at the human captain on his screen, his mandibles slack with shock. His perfect demonstration had become something else entirely, a revelation that would change the Confederation's understanding of humanity forever. The emergency session of the Galactic Confederation Council began just 6 hours after the Phantom revealed itself. The grand chamber that had once echoed with laughter at humanity's expense now buzzed with anxious whispers. Representatives from 17 species filled the tiered seats, their attention fixed on the central platform. Commander Tull entered flanked by 2 junior officers. His scales, once vibrant with confidence, now showed a muted gray. The proud posture was gone. He moved slowly to the speaker's position and looked out at his peers. "They were among us the entire time," he admitted, his voice carrying through the silent chamber. Our most advanced sensors detected nothing until they chose to reveal themselves. The council members shifted uncomfortably. On the main screen, images from the demonstration played. The impossible appearance of the black ship, the precise disabling of the Volcron flagship, the calm human captain delivering his message. The human vessel remained undetected for 3 hours within our fleet formation, Tull continued. They scanned our ships, mapped our systems, and positioned themselves perfectly. At any point, they could have disabled or destroyed our entire fleet. A murmur ran through the chamber. The Zoltar representative, a crystalline being, leaned forward. Is it possible they acquired this technology from another species? No, Tull answered firmly. Our analysis confirms their quantum displacement field is unlike anything in Confederation records. It is uniquely human technology. Admiral Park sat quietly in the Earth delegation section, watching the proceedings with practiced calm. Beside her, General Kim maintained an equally composed expression. When the council leader invited her to speak, she moved gracefully to the central platform. The Phantom is merely the first of our stealth fleet, she stated, her voice carrying quiet confidence. Earth has chosen a path of defensive innovation rather than aggressive expansion. She activated a small device that projected images of Earth's history, centuries of wars followed by decades of growing cooperation. We learned from our past that true strength comes not from dominating others, but from protecting what matters. We developed the Phantom not to conquer, but to ensure our survival in a universe we knew nothing about. The council leader, an ancient being named Elder Vor with skin like wrinkled parchment, leaned forward on withered arms. His large eyes studied Admiral Park intently. You concealed this technology during our initial assessment, he observed. We did, Admiral Park acknowledged without apology. We needed to understand the Confederation's intentions first. Earth has had mixed experiences with first contact scenarios in our literature. We chose caution. Elder Vor's mouth formed what might have been a smile. It seems we have greatly misjudged humanity's ingenuity. The next 3 days were filled with intense negotiations. The Phantom remained in Earth orbit, visible to all. A silent reminder of humanity's hidden capabilities. Captain Lee and his crew received a steady stream of diplomatic visitors, all eager to see the impossible ship that had changed the Confederation's view of humanity overnight. On the 4th day, a new treaty was signed. Earth recognized as a full Confederation member with all associated rights and protections. The ceremony took place on neutral ground, a space station at the edge of Earth's solar system. As the formal proceedings concluded, Commander Tull approached Admiral Park. His posture, once dominant and dismissive, now showed genuine respect. His scales had shifted to a deep blue, a color Admiral Park had learned indicated sincerity among the Volcron. Your people achieved what my species thought impossible, he said quietly. The Volcron request an exchange of knowledge and culture. Admiral Park studied him for a moment before smiling. We would be honored to learn from you as well, Commander. That has always been humanity's greatest strength, not our technology, but our willingness to grow and adapt together. Commander Tull lowered his head slightly, a significant gesture from a Volcron. I was wrong about your species. The Confederation needs the kind of thinking humanity brings. Later that day, aboard the Phantom's observation deck, Captain Lee and Commander Yoon stood side by side watching Earth gleam blue and green below them. After years of secrecy, the weight of their mission had lifted. It's strange, Commander Yoon said, to think that our greatest achievement was not having to use our capabilities destructively. Captain Lee nodded. The best victory is the one where nobody loses. On the main view screen, reports showed the first cultural exchanges beginning between Earth and various Confederation species. Alien visitors were arriving at designated sites around the planet. Human representatives were preparing to visit other worlds. Do you think they'll ever know? Asked Commander Yoon. Know what? That the Phantom is actually our only stealth ship. That we bluffed about having a fleet. Captain Lee smiled. By the time they figure that out, we'll have built the fleet. Besides, they're not the only ones who learned something important. What's that? That sometimes the greatest power comes not from what you do, but from what others believe you can do. Below them, Earth continued its spin, now a recognized member of the galactic community, no longer mocked, but respected as equals among the stars. The end.